It's what you're doing, making me feel like I'm falling.
Hi, it's me. I am back. I was gone for 2 weeks because I gave birth. And as it turns out, newborns require a lot of attention. Here is his adorable little hand. For today's maternity leave level video, we are going to be completing some childhood art kits that you guys sent to me. Ages 6 and up, perfect, nice and simple. In the past, I did a bunch of videos called Finishing My Childhood Art Kits, where I finished a bunch of childhood art kits that I never finished.
No, I never finished it. Wow.
Once I finished all of those, you guys started sending me your childhood art kits, and now we're doing part 2 of finishing your childhood art kits. So if you do have an art kit that you want me to finish, send it to my P.O. box and I'll take a stab at it. So this art kit is a velvet door hanger. Velvet. We've got some markers on the back, but I don't know how old this is. I feel like the markers are gonna be dried out. Let's open it. Let me just really easily shake and dump this out. Here we go. Come on, get out. Okay. So there appear to be 3 different things in this. There's the markers on the back, which are actually stuck to this green thing. It's left some sticky residue that... it's unpleasant. That obviously was not going to work. I tried to wipe it off with a baby wipe, which obviously was not going to work either. I really should have used some alcohol swabs, but then I realized, you know what, the cat is covering it anyway. This is useless, let's just forget about it. I enjoy the velvet cat that comes with this. It's very cute. And then we have these markers, which I am very skeptical about because, one, they are so small. They are literally the size of my pinky finger. So that's not pinky promising. All right, I'll stop. These are also the type of markers that when you look at them, you immediately know they are never going to work. The ink is almost immediately going to be dried out just because of the way that they look. You're like, yes, this is okay, these, look, the cap is not going to go on the back, Marissa. I started to use the red marker and surprise, surprise, it doesn't work. But I decided, let's turn this into a fun little game. A battle, if you will. Nothing like a little competition. Let's see which marker can go the furthest. The red lost immediately. The blue went kind of far, but the purple, oh my gosh, the purple. Look how far she went. She really flew. She could just keep going, and then she finally puttered out. But the pink was just horrible right from the start. The green really probably the worst. And we have discovered what I already knew. I am going to need to use my own markers to be able to complete this art kit. I decided to take out my ink permanent marker set of these bright neon colors. These are actually a very fun permanent marker set. I enjoy these. I mean, I don't use them all the time, but they're kind of fun to use occasionally. I'm doing a swatch of all the colors I might use, and there are certain colors, like the orange, that just look really dark until they dry, and then they start to look a little better. Some are not my favorite, some I really like, but you know what? We're gonna use it. Let's take our precious velvet cat back out. What should we name the cat, actually? It should be something to do with velvet, because this is a velvet coloring thing. Let me think. Velvet, furry, soft. Velma. The cat's name is Velma. Okay, now we can move on. As you can see, I decided to color this cat this weird purple color at first because, well, there were not a lot of options that I liked, and the light lavender purple just seemed like the best option. As I was coloring this, the velvet actually started to decay and disintegrate into pieces. It got everywhere, and I looked back at the packaging, realized this is from 2009. It's not as old as my art kits, but they're pretty close, honestly. I think mine were around 2004, 2005-ish. This is 2009. We're approaching a 15-year-old art kit. I think it's allowed to disintegrate a tiny bit, but only a little. I took out this darker magenta color and started doing some shading on Velma. And the purple magenta kind of color combination was weird, but when I started to do the shading and then added the darker shading to the eyes, that's when things started to look really scary to me. I was like, wow, this cat has seen some stuff. It also kind of reminds me of the Cheshire Cat colors, and I was like, wow, Was not intending that, but I guess that was an accident. Moving down to our fish bowl that has a goldfish inside it, it looks like Velma is proudly protecting her goldfish, potentially proudly presenting her goldfish. I know cats do like to eat fish typically, but I like to think that Velma and this goldfish are friends, and she will not eat it. As I was coloring in the goldfish area, things started to get a bit muddy. I don't know why this happened, but I guess the velvet, the black, started to like melt into some of my colors, and that is why things look a little bit bad. Velma is going to have a yellow bow, and then there are these paw prints around her, so I'm coloring them in with 3 different colors: yellow, blue, and green. The shading on Velma's bow is orange as well, so I chose those colors because that is the same colors that are in the goldfish bowl. After that, I took out my Jelly Roll white pen and added some extra highlights to the eyes, tried to make it look not so scary. I also took out this cream Posca paint pen and added that to the top part of the fishbowl just so we had some color there. And I used my Jelly Roll for some bubbles in the fishbowl. I felt like my cat needed some extra pizzazz. We already had some ridiculous colors going on here, so I figured why not add some yellow highlights to the cat. It kind of makes it look a little bit orange, and I think that brings in the goldfish really well. It's just a fun thing to have. I don't know. Okay, so here we have our very eccentric and colorfully colored cat. And if you thought this was over, it's not. We still have to handle our door hanger, the green thing that came with this kit. On the top part of the door hanger, the part that has the circle where the door knob goes, I think we all know how this works. I decided to write Bellamena because this is presumably going to go on the door to my art room. I may as well have my channel name written on the top of it. I'm also taking out my gross looking hot glue gun so that I can glue our cat to the door hanger. After Velma the Velvet Cat has been glued to the door hanger, I'm taking out different Posca paint pens to decorate around that. The colors I used at first were a little too light, so I decided to go back over them with some darker colors, and I'm creating like confetti, I guess. My goal here was to incorporate some of the colors that are on the cat onto the background. After that's done, I wanted to seal everything together, so I took out my Mod Podge gloss finish and sprayed a hefty amount on top of the door hanger. I think I did 2 or 3 sprays of it. I did so many coats of the Mod Podge spray because I felt like the velvet was coming off of the green plastic and I didn't want things to fall apart. So I just sprayed a ton of Mod Podge on it and it was very sealed together. I realized that this video was much shorter and a lot simpler than a lot of my videos on my channel. That is because, again, I just gave birth. I have a little newborn. He is adorable but requires so much attention and time, and I am just going to be doing a little bit of shorter videos for the next few weeks while I get adjusted to being a mom. So I appreciate you guys sticking around, and I will see you next week for another video. Bye!